Welcome to Stocks to Watch, our exclusive one-on-one series with executives to help you make informed investment decisions. I'm Ashley Berry, and we're welcoming Ken MacLeod, President, CEO, and Director of Sonoro Gold Corp, a junior gold exploration, development, and soon-to-be gold producer with properties in the mining-friendly jurisdiction of Sonora, Mexico. Sonoro Gold Corp is trading on the TSXV as SGO, the OTCQB in the United States as SMOFF, and the Frankfurt Exchange as 23SP. Looking forward to our conversation, Ken. Welcome.
Thank you, Ashley. It's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Sonoro Gold, how it was founded, what sets it apart from other companies, and of course, any other interesting facts you can share.
Of course. Sonoro Gold went public in 2011 with a mining project in the Milestones mining district of Sonora State, Mexico. And the two principals of the company at that time are still with us today. Our mining engineer, Jorge Diaz, who's the VP of operations, and our VP of exploration, Mel Herdrick. So they've been the continuing force behind the company, and they have a storied history of mine discovery and operations in Mexico. And they started off with this property that we eventually sold to Agnico Eagle, and it became part of the Agnico's operations at the Milestones district and the La India mine. So that gave us enough money in 2016 to look for additional projects. So we've secured a project and now own 100% of it called San Marcial, which is also located in Sonora State. And it's only about a 3-hour drive from the Arizona border. And with the the resulting work we did at San Marcial, we've now determined that it's drill ready, and we believe that it has a potential for at least 1 million ounces of gold. And once we have enough bandwidth to be able to drill both projects at the same time, we will start that. But then in 2017 and early 2018, we did our due diligence on numerous projects in northern Mexico, into Chihuahua, into Zacatecas, and several projects in Sonora. And we settled on this Cerro Caliche project because it has, in our opinion, great potential. We figured that there may be well over 1 million ounces of potential there, and possibly as much as 2 million ounces. And so we decided that was going to be our focus. And we started drilling in 2018, and there's a grand total of 55,000 meters of drilling data now that we're working with, and approximately, I think it's 498 holes. So that has given us the start of what we call the phase 1 operation to build a mine. And over the past 6 months or so, we've done an updated resource estimation by SRK, the international consulting firm, and a PEA, or preliminary economic assessment, by Micon Engineering out of Toronto and Denim Engineering out of Toronto. So now we have the basis for effectively putting the mine plan together and start going through the final permitting process to build the mine. And that's where we're at today.
Yeah, that's big news. And when you talk about, Cerro Caliche, and you talk about the holes, if we were to sort of break this down into layman's terms for somebody watching or listening, how would they understand the importance of this, as well as the fact that you're on your way to becoming an actual producer?
Well, typically what you will find with junior companies is that you want to build as many ounces up as possible before you make a production decision. But we have come from a different mindset. We have my engineer, Jorge Diaz, and I was a VP exploration. I spent many, many years with a really storied entrepreneur by the name of Chester Miller. And they would go in there and look at new discoveries and do a minimal amount of drilling and do a bulk test to see whether the ore was extractable and whether it was potentially profitable, and then put it into production. at a low daily rate initially, and then build it up out of cash flow. And that was employed very successfully in numerous projects, projects such as El Castillo in Mexico, in Sonora State, La Colorada, and so on and so forth. And so we're using the same type of a plan of action to take Cerro Caliche. We've gone a little further than we had anticipated in the beginning because we were victims of our own success because every drill hole was successful. So we decided that we could afford to go bigger from the get-go. But then because of market conditions over the past couple of years, especially, and even longer, the ability to raise capital has been constrained. So we decided, let's start off smaller and then build up out of cash flow. So we know currently that we have a minimum 9 years of life of mine based upon the current plan, which makes the project extremely attractive because we know that with additional drilling, we can expand the resource and increase the life of mine, increase the size of the resource, and hopefully even increase the average grade for the resource. So that's been the focus for us. And our technical team in Mexico, I can assure you, is second to none. Jorge Diaz has built 11 copper and gold mines in northern Mexico over a 50-year career. And he's operating, he's been operating several of these mines for several years, and then before moving on, building the next one. And Mel Herdrick, our VP of exploration, has got over 5 million ounces of gold discovery to his credit. So our seasoned team, it has the ability to take this project through. John Darch and I have the ability to finance it, and our technical team has the ability to bring it into production. So that's what makes it exciting, and that's what possibly sets us apart from a regular junior exploration company.
And Ken, I would say, a victim of your own success, not a bad problem to have, right?
It's a good problem to have. And we know that now that going forward, the drill targets that we've lined up for the next phase of drilling are expected to be in areas where we've achieved significantly higher grades than throughout the other parts of the property. And so if we continue to focus on that, for example, the western sector of La Colorada, it's El Colorado and Guadalupe and Cabeza Blanca, that section, that sector has doubled the average grade of the entire concession as it stands today. So when you're looking at starting off with an average grade of 0.8 grams, 0.9 grams, you're able to get a quick recovery on capital. So it's just over 2 years to get the recovery on capital, which makes the cash flow going forward beyond that point can be used for additional drilling purposes. And so we're now at the point where we're expecting to get final approval on the permitting to build the mine, and that is the catalyst for us to spring ahead and raise the project financing.
Is there any way to sort of, looking through the lens, giving us an idea maybe of timeline or when that can be expected as far as, the production process? What are we looking at here?
Well, that's the $1 million question today. And we've been working with the environmental agency, SEMARNAT, which is a federal agency in Mexico City. And for the past few years, they've been very, very slow in responding to proposals for new mining projects in Mexico. But we've seen over the past few months a sea change in that regard. The activity at SEMARNAT has intensified over the past few months to the point where we believe that there are no further issues, no further comments from SEMARNAT with respect to getting the environmental permit. So we're waiting now for the final political decision to say, yes, go ahead and build the mine. Now, that could happen anytime. It could happen next week, next month, or it could happen next year. But it's just a matter of time when we are confident that we will attain the environmental permit to build the mine.
Sure. It sounds like you're well on your way as we speak now. Let's just touch a little bit about, some upcoming milestones maybe for Sonora Gold, and what events should investors anticipate or sort of keep an eye on, and why should they invest in Sonora Gold, quite simply?
Oh, there are numerous reasons why I believe that Sonora Gold is an attractive investment for anybody to take a look at. One, of course, being the environmental permit will be a catalyst for significant change in the company. We go from exploration to being a production company. The valuations will then be based upon our cash flow, and also as we go along, we will continue the drilling program, thereby hopefully increasing the size of the mine, hopefully increasing the life of the mine. And even though it is a robust return on investment right now for the mine, we know we can do better. And so when I look at some of the project economics, net present value currently in the order of about $70 million US for the project as it stands today, and an internal rate of return after tax of 45%. That compares very favorably with large projects that are being built around the world in the gold sector. And I think the one thing I want to emphasize right now is this is an open pit heap leach mining operation we're about to build, and the capital costs are very low. In fact, we've been able to, by using contractors to mine and transmit the ore to the crusher, and also from the crusher to the leach pad, we're able to cut down significantly on capital costs. Also, by leasing the crusher on a lease to purchase basis, we defer the upfront payment of the high cost of the crusher and defer that and pay for it out of cash flow. So all in all, we've been able to reduce the capital cost down to $15.5 million US, and then put the other remaining capital costs into a payment out of operating capital. So it's been a successful outcome for us in that regard, because it is a tough market out there, and you don't want to have over dilution to the shareholders. And this is the way we've been able to achieve that.
Fantastic. So, Ken, I just have to ask you, all this success happening in Mexico, what excites you the most about now the fact that you're really on the cusp of producing? What excites you the most about all that?
I think I started off my life in engineering, and being able to take a project through from inception to actual production is a very satisfying achievement. And if we're able, like I mentioned earlier, if we are successful in getting the environmental permit approved in the next month or two, we intend to be in production with the mine by the end of 2024 and pouring the first doré bar. And that will be the highlight of 5 years of hard labor in developing the resource to this date, and taking the mine plan from the desktop to actual
Right.
full reality.
Right. Something tangible, something you can touch, feel, not only a highlight, I would say, for you and your team, but also for shareholders and potential shareholders. Ken MacLeod, President, CEO, and Director of Sonoro Gold Corp, trading on the TSXV again as SGO and others. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing insights here with us on Global One Media's Stocks to Watch series. We really look forward to sharing additional updates with our audience. Thanks again, Ken.
Thank you, Ashley. It's been a real pleasure.